particular technological application that is being increasingly talked about in online learning is learning objects. Terry Anderson, just what is a learning object?
There are as many definitions as there are learning objects probably, but in essence what I think as a learning object is a piece of course content. It can be as small as a picture or a diagram, or it can be a simulation or a Java applet, that a little experiment or some video clip of somebody doing something, or but it has to be a sort of a discrete unit. What size it is debatable. It can be as large as even a course, but it's usually much smaller than that. And it has to be digitized so that it can be cataloged and it can be distributed over a network. But if one talks about them in strictly digital terms, I think it's only been in the last, say, 5 or 6 years that we've been able to, we've had these objects, but we've never tagged them or identified them in such a way that other people can search and retrieve them. I think what's new is the accessibility and the retrievability of them.
And what is the future of learning objects? How would you like to be able to use them?
Well, I guess what I'd like to see is that when I'm charged with developing a new course or a new unit for somebody, that I can go onto the net and I can have an array of choices available that I can play with, I can try out myself, I can look at how they've been evaluated in a number of different contexts. I can purchase additional add-on pieces to it if I want to. I'd like to be able to, within my own classroom, anywhere in the world, basically, have access to a huge learning object store, and half of the objects are free.
But learning objects are just one small part of overall developments in online education. Another is the need for an institution to have an integrated web strategy. Tony Bates, just what is an integrated web strategy?
Basically, students can do everything through the web. You can create all kinds of things in the web, but to do that, you need to make sure that all your technologies are integrated enough to enable you to feed it all into the web without too many problems. I mean, there are two ways to go about this. One is to make sure that all your computer systems work to the same standard, so that your library, your administration, your teaching are all based on the same kind of technology platform, like say an Oracle database. Most institutions aren't like that. They've got different systems all over. So what you then have to do is to look at, can the web integrate those different systems? So from the end user's point of view, it doesn't make any difference to them. They're just seeing it through the web. And a classic example of that is when a student registers for a course and pays their fee, it should trigger a whole set of other actions automatically, so that when they register for the course, an instructor is assigned to them, and the students immediately know who that instructor is. So there's ripple effects through the whole system, and that's what we should be aiming for in developing an integrated web strategy.
As we've seen in this program, distance education is thriving around the globe. Open universities in many countries are responding to the challenges and creating institutions that are more global in outlook, and are using new and emerging technologies to teach and support their students. As a final question, we asked our leaders in distance education to look to the future and give us a glimpse of what is to come.
I think one of the major emerging issues is change management within universities, and I think where you have open universities, you have different sorts of challenges for change than you have in dual mode institutions. And I think some of the presentations here have highlighted the fact that where in dual mode institutions distance education isn't really part of the mainstream, but is perhaps relatively marginal, even though it may be quite large. there seems to be a division emerging between the traditional academic stream and the vertical silos of academics and the distance education part of the organisation, which is often trying to promote e-learning and different types of mixed mode hybrid delivery, and seems to be running into some sort of resistance from research-oriented academics. I think if we're going to get the benefits of distance education and develop economies of scale, then clearly the institutional models have got to be challenged. And I think the challenge for the leaders of the institutions is to get a focus on making e-learning, distance education, mixed mode as a formal part of the strategy of the institution to move forward. Where institutions do that, I don't think they'll play a major part in any of the developments that are needed.